y'all, it's Ilana and welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be shitting on dating coaches, why they are absolute scams, why you do not need one. I'm excited to spill some tea on the truth behind dating coaches. So if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I post content about what it's like to navigate life in dating in Portland as a single woman. So if you're thinking about moving to Portland, or maybe you're just single navigating the dating world, whatever the case may be, go ahead and subscribe down below because I think you'll really like it here and I'd love to have you in the kitten squad. So without further ado, let's go ahead and shit on some dating coaches. November, I made a video about the reality of being a YouTuber who talks about dating and how it affects my life. And in that video, I clearly state I do not claim myself as a dating coach. The way that I make my videos when I talk about dating is simply me just explaining what I've learned from all my experiences and sharing it with my audience in hopes that it helps somebody else out. And I also like to disclaim that just because it's worked for me doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you. There's no one size fits all, and there isn't like any wrong way or right way to talk about dating online. Everyone's experiences are going to be different. So to kind of piggyback off that video, one thing that I address in that video is why should people even come to me for my dating advice when I'm a single woman? I haven't had a relationship since 2011. Or no, 2011? Yeah, 2011. What makes me an expert to talk about why I talk about? And I addressed that and I shared my credentials of why I believe I am kind of qualified to actually talk about this stuff, as opposed to why dating coaches aren't qualified. So I got a lot of positive responses on that video after I explained myself, and it felt really good. But I wanted to go into further detail about dating coaches because there was one thing that I never actually talked about in that video. So that is what I'm gonna do with this video now. So there are tons of dating coaches out there on YouTube and on the internet who claim that they are the #1 relationship expert. They basically say that they have many clients, they've helped so many people out better their relationships and their dating lives, and almost all of them are not credible to be considered a dating coach. So let's go over credibility. If you were to ever want to work with a dating coach, you really need to do your research, because let me tell you, I did a couple of research on popular dating coaches like Matthew Hussey, Matt Boggs, a couple of like feminine dating coaches out there, and almost all of them do not have any kind of credentials to be considered a dating coach. They just market themselves as a coach and a very well-known motivational speaker, which doesn't qualify you to talk about dating advice to other people. So what does exactly make somebody more credible to be a dating coach? So the first thing is a lot of these proclaimed dating coaches will not have any kind of degree in psychology, human behavior, marriage and family therapy, any kind of counseling, social work, things of that nature. They don't have the educational background at all. Some of them have gone to college, but just because you've gone to college or you've gotten your MBA degree or you got a law degree, that doesn't really make you eligible to give relationship advice to singles or those who are in relationships currently. A lot of these dating coaches lack so many credentials and they really don't know what they're talking about. And it's not to say that they don't give good advice, and I will get into that advice portion a little bit later on in this video, but the problem is none of them are qualified to talk about it because they lack a bunch of educational background, they don't have the proper experience, or they don't even have like a certificate from the ICF, which is an actual accredited organization if you ever want to be some sort of coach. So I personally think that I am more qualified than some of these so-called dating coaches because I have a master's degree in family and couple sciences. I had a job 2 years in behavioral therapy, and I also have a bachelor's degree in human services. all helping professional fields, all very human-centric focused, all psychology focused and sociology focused. That makes me much more qualified. I never became a licensed MFT, but I still have the background to do that, and I have the knowledge, and I know how to do research and how to read into that research. And so a lot of the times when I give my advice, yes, a lot of it is based on my personal experience, and experience doesn't necessarily make you qualified, but I personally do think my experiences has been helpful to other people, along with the fact that a lot of the things that I present are based on research. But just because I read a book doesn't make me qualified, but I do have the experience and the educational background, and that's what makes me more qualified to talk about what I talk about on my channel. I also want to note that there isn't any kind of degree in becoming a dating coach, but there are certification programs out there online to where you can become a dating coach. A lot of them are not legit, but there are some programs out there that are actually accredited by the ICF or by ASEC, which is an organization for sex therapy and sexual education. And you can take these coaching programs as a credential to your accreditation for the ASEC or for the ICF to get your coaching license or certification, whatever you're trying to get. So those actually have legitimacy to them. And I recommend, if you were to ever want to work with a dating coach, I would look at people who actually have a certification from the ICF, from ASEC, or an actual real organization that is legit. When you go onto these dating coaches' websites, like their About Me section, or if you want to look them up on LinkedIn, almost all of them do not share what makes them qualified. They don't say where they went to school, what they got a degree in, what kind of training that they've had, what kind of experiences they've had in behavior therapy or psychology or anything relevant to talking about relationships. All they say is that they're an excellent business person, they're great at sales, and that they're a motivational speaker, which doesn't matter. That's not relevant at all. I know a lot of people will talk about dating and sharing with others because a lot of it is based on their own personal biases, which again, I will get into in just a little bit. And another thing that I absolutely hate are matchmakers. They're also not qualified to give you relationship advice or to match you up with people because matchmakers are actually just salespeople. It's just a fancy marketing tactic used to make someone sound like they're an expert in setting people up for relationships. Their databases are small, and the people that they have in their database aren't necessarily going to be good matches for every single client that they have. So that's another reason as to why I don't want to work with matchmakers and why I personally don't think you should work with a matchmaker as well. Just a little side note, unless if the matchmaker has credentials, as in they have like a background in psychology or therapy or counseling, then I would actually trust them. And I will link a bunch of qualified dating experts down below if you're ever interested in seeking out their services, because these are actually qualified people. That is one reason as to why I find so many of these dating coaches to be scams and problematic, because they cannot call themselves a dating coach when they have absolute zero credibility to their name. The second thing that I have an issue when it comes to dating coaches is their problematic marketing and sales tactics. Oh my God, where do I even start? I really hate when dating coaches will market themselves with the phrases like, be a high value man, be a high value woman. Especially male dating coaches will have a ton of misogynistic preachings. Don't even get me started on that because these dating coaches are stupidly, and I mean stupidly expensive. A lot of them will have courses and training programs to how to become better at dating, to help you understand the opposite sex. It's all very heteronormative, and I have a big problem with that. There aren't just straight relationships out there. You don't really see a lot of dating coaches out there for those who are part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and I will actually link a few dating coaches for the LGBTQIA plus community. Happy Pride Month. We are in the month of June, so I want to make sure that you guys do feel included, because it makes me mad with how heteronormative dating coaches are today, and that there aren't dating coaches or somebody who truly is knowledgeable in their field to help people find a better love life. I will have some people linked down below in case you are interested in seeking out those services. But for the most part, ones who are not credible and don't have any kind of background, they are scamming you. They just want to make money and sell their bullshit product when they clearly don't have a good understanding of how people actually work. A lot of male dating coaches use a lot of misogynistic preachings and also have a lot of harmful messages regarding toxic masculinity. A lot of these male dating coaches, whether it's targeted for men or for women, they will say things like, I'm gonna help you nail every single girl. I'm gonna help you get as many dates as possible so no women will say no to you. I can do that. I have this great tactic that's gonna help every single woman that you've ever wanted to sleep with you. Disgusting. Not every single woman is going to be attracted to the same person. These male dating coaches act like all men think the same, and they don't. All women don't think the same. This is like a huge problem that a lot of male dating coaches use, where they say all men are wired like this. No, men and women are not wired differently. We all have the same brain. We all think differently, but we all have the same brain. And I'm tired of people using this narrative as an excuse to let men be the way they are because of how they are wired. It's simply not true. I also hate it when male coaches and even some female dating coaches will use these harmful, stupid terminology like alpha male, beta male, simp. It's so toxic. If you really have to call yourself an alpha male, you're probably not an alpha male. Stop calling yourself an alpha male or telling men that they are beta because they're too nice to women, or that they are a simp because they're simply being nice and respectful to women. Man, if being a simp is wrong, then you certainly do not want to be right. I will take a beta simp male any day of the week because those men typically know how to actually respect a woman, to treat her right, and to be there by her side. If you male coaches feel like you need to label men as an alpha, beta, or simp, you are seriously doing men a disservice when you do that. I just also hate it when a lot of male dating coaches out there like to use this marketing on how to trick women into sleeping with you. That's disgusting. Whatever happened to being honest? If you just want sex, just say you want sex. Yes, you may get some rejection, but I'm not gonna be mad at you for you being honest and saying like, hey, I'm just looking to hook up. Because hey, at least you were honest with me. I'm not gonna be like, ugh, what a pig. You made it very clear to me you just wanted sex. I'm not gonna be mad at you for that. So that's another problem that I have with a lot of these teachings, is that they wanna trick women, they wanna manipulate women just to get in bed with them, and that's disgusting and doing men a huge disservice. Let's talk about female dating coaches, because they also can be toxic. A lot of these female dating coaches tend to have that pick-me behavior where they teach women how to be more feminine, how to do certain things for men to get men to be more attracted to them. That's harmful. And these kinds of female dating coaches are basically telling women that your validation and self-worth is based off what men think. Absolutely not. That's toxic and such gross pick-me behavior that we don't need in this world today. I just feel like a lot of female dating coaches preach traditional femininity, and while there's nothing wrong with traditional femininity, it's the fact that you're telling all women they need to be more traditionally feminine in order to get a partner, and that doesn't sit right with me at all. There's a lot of internal misogyny and pick-me mentalities that go on with female dating coaches that I simply do not appreciate at all. I just hate how both male and female dating coaches just use a lot of toxic jargon to promote their courses and their services because they know that they will target the desperate singles. I feel like a lot of people who use dating coaches are those who are desperate and they think, oh, they're a dating coach, they have all these great testimonials, they seem so knowledgeable, I really need advice because I hate being single. I will do anything to get myself a partner. I truly think if you really want a relationship, there are so many other ways to go about it. And I personally think working on yourself and not letting somebody dictate your way of thinking and how you should be doing this or that to get a partner is most certainly not the way to go about things. It's basically the blind leading the blind. And I don't want that for people. So I think people really need to do more research behind these people and ignore these misogynistic and even misogynistic practices that these dating coaches are marketing out to the world. It's awful. And then the third thing when it comes to these dating coaches is that their advice is simply just that. It's advice. It's not fact. Everything that they say is based off opinion. Take me for an example. While I don't market myself as a dating coach and never will, all the advice that I give to singles on this channel is based off my own experiences and what I've learned and how it's helped me, in hopes that it also helps you too. I always mention that, and it's really important that you at least own it and say that, hey, like everything that I say is based off personal experiences and bias that I have when it comes to the dating world and what I look for in a partner. And that is how I give advice out on the internet. I own up to it. A lot of these dating coaches do not do that. They do not say, like, my advice, the way that I do my teachings and courses is all based off my own experiences and preferences in hopes that it helps you too. That's not how they market themselves. They basically say, like, this is fact, this is how you'll get a partner, and how you will no longer become single. That's basically how they market. And I find that to be very misleading. There's a lack of transparency, and I just wish that they could just own up to that, and they won't. And it's not to say that these dating coaches don't give good advice. Some of them do give good advice, even though they don't have any kind of credentials. Like, one person that I actually really do like listening to, who's actually a dating coach for men, is Lloyd Dixon from The Single Guy. I've actually had him on my podcast. He's awesome. Shout out to you, Lloyd. And while Lloyd doesn't have like the credentials, the things that he actually says to his male audience are actually about how to be respectful to women, how to get women and pick up women in a very respectful way. And as a woman who will watch his videos from time to time, I think, yeah, that's actually exactly how I would want to be approached in these situations. And I really do like his perspective on how he's trying to help single men become a better version of themselves. And I would say his audience is definitely more for the modern male out there and not really more for the traditional male, but I'm sure he can still cater to that audience as well. But that is somebody that I do like as an example. But there are so many terrible dating coaches out there that don't give good advice. So it's up to you. Would you ever use a dating coach? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked this video and you thought it was insightful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.